To make sure you could hear me because I wasn't showing anything, but it's fixed now.
Yeah, you can turn off your camera if you want. Oh, I was just going to show what I've been doing at night in my crazy
Is that yours,
fashion.
that quilt?
Yes, this is what I do at night because I just
Oh, wow.
can't take it anymore. I'm on my fourth one.
Ooh.
I just put 2 of
This
them up
this
here.
is the
Wow.
felt
Oh,
fit,
that is
right?
so beautiful.
Thank you.
Those are
Are you one
gorgeous.
of those people that works really fast, Allison?
I'm a
I
maniac,
bet you
yes.
are.
Yeah. Well,
That would
you know
take me
what?
years.
I'm a production person too. And
Mhm.
and I'm really disciplined, and which is a very odd combination with how wacky I really am.
One of my students asked me if I, gosh, do you ever sleep? And my answer was, I've heard of that. Is it any good?
Listen, I get that all the time, but I do sleep. I'm just, certain people are that way. I know you're that way. I know most of the people I work with are that way. And in one more minute, we will officially start doing whatever. This is the first time I've
Well,
done one of these, and I really have no idea what I'm presenting. So, but I got some funny stories to tell, and we'll start that way. This is sort of one of those funny enough how my son is finally working with childhood heroes. I called this, and I'll tell you the story of how this all happened as soon as we start. So it's just how the world is a full circle. Sometimes it cracks you up. So that be that. So we will start just shortly, and I will do my best to get all of these links in and all of that kind of stuff. I know, Sally, you're still on, right? If you see anything that maybe needs a link, you can throw it in too. Because I know she's really good at that. But I think I have a lot here. So we'll be good. And it is finally, it's 1 o'clock. Fun at 1. Oh my gosh. Hello, everyone. I am Allison Lee, your host here at craftcast.com. First of all, a big virtual hug to all of you. We all need a break. I hope you're all doing well. I hope this gives you a little time of not some stress removed from your life, because I know more than ever, making things and being with people like minded is very helpful at this time in our lives. So, this is just to bring a little joy and happiness and fun and creative energy for this afternoon. We'll be doing lots of these as well as our normal CraftCast classes. Just a little backstory on this. Oh, first, let me give you a little bit of technical stuff. We'll be showing a bunch of JPEGs. Teachers will be talking through them. We have a few videos. It's different than your normal classes. We just have great people, great women who came on and gave me all these materials. This came together in the past 24 hours. So I said, just share what you're doing right now that you love, because people want to see that. So that's what you're going to see. If the videos look a little jumpy, it's because if your Wi-Fi isn't doing great, it looks a little animated. I am recording this, so I'll make the recording available to everyone for free, of course, where everything will run at that speed. So God bless you.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. One other thing I want to say too, when you're coming on, my son is doing a live streaming event through YouTube. I'll put information posted Sunday night. He has a lineup of guests you'll love. You'll love some of them for sure. And it's to raise money for the Actors Fund because of all of Broadway being laid off. And to help people out there. So check Facebook for that link for Sunday night. That'll be tons of fun. And so today's class, the name of today's Fun at One, even though my son reminded me it might sound a little porno, it's not. So when I was
Speak for
three,
yourself.
when I was 3 years old, I it must have been sign of closed access TV or something. And I remember sitting in front of the TV and a woman demonstrating taking a box of ivory snowflakes and some water and an egg beater and beating it all up and then having snow molding clay, soap molding clay. And that left an impression on me as a 3-year-old. And the show is called Fun at One. So we have come full circle from them. It is Fun at One here. We will not be making ivory snowflake soap, but there, if you want to, it's a great thing to do with kids. You can dye it, all kinds of fun. So it's in the spirit of all of that that today's fun time together uh, evolved. And then if you have questions for anyone, I know a lot of you had questions maybe about some metal clay, some polymer clay coming up. Throw them in the chat box. You're working on your audio. Yes, party. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. We'll try to get to, if you have a question technically, if we don't see it, because there's 500 people registered today. Just send it to support@craftcast.com and we'll get it answered if it's a question like that for sure, because it might be hard for me to catch all of the questions. So who's on today? We have Mags Bonham, we have Pam East, we have Sulie Girardi, we have Lora Hart, we have Julia Ray, we have Cindy Pope and Cynthia Tinapple, or as someone who sent me an email yesterday and obviously autocorrect kicked in, Cynthia Pineapple. I have Cynthia Pineapple. SpongeBob, I'm thinking. No. Okay, so autocorrect. And they all have really fun stuff to show you, and I'll be giving you some links. Oh, and just because, is it behind here? All right, so here's CraftCast if you're not familiar. Right now, Ms. Sally is at the chat desk. If you have any questions, you can go right through there. Obviously, we have everything, but I wanted to show you, we have extended for the rest of the month our 30% off sale because people need stuff right now, period, end of subject. We're doing it so that people can find things to keep them entertained and learning, because it's a great time to do that. If you're a metal clay person, Sally, if you're on, can you put in, let me make sure, or I think I can do it right here. If you go to the categories and you only want to look at metal clay, you can go right to that category, or if you only want to look at polymer clay from the front page, you can go right to that category. You can also type in, I'm just giving this to everyone, you can also type in one of the teachers' names and find things. So, and if you really can't find something, just again, support@craftcast.com. We'll help you out with anything. We're really good. We get lots of lovely comments. Thank you, everyone, for all those wonderful testimonials. We want people to be happy and creating. So there you go. All right, so let me start, because I don't usually show anything, but I thought, oh, why not? And you know what? I'll turn off my webcam now just to make sure it's not causing any issues with seeing things. And Mags, why don't you turn yours off as well? And then we'll make sure that all the energy is going to seeing the desktop. All right, so I love metal clay. I love clay. I love everything on the site. But at night, I take up doing stitching. So I was just going to show you what I've been doing at night. This is the one of the first ones I did. I do one a year. I'm not good at it. I'm learning. I get all my stuff online from Sue Spargo. It's great fun if you're interested in doing this kind of work. There's something about colored threads and being able to sit and watch TV, but not take in all the news too much, that if I sit around and play with colors and threads, it's easier for me. So I put that out for all you guys. So thank you. Thank you. Melinda, you have no audio. Make sure your speakers are on. Just check your preferences, because everyone does have audio, so it might be on your end. So those are the kind of things that I like to do to keep busy, and this is a perfect time if you are someone who is using the new term sheltering at home to take up and stay creative. I think it's a great way to be healthy. So Dr. Allison says, keep crafting. And with that, all right, so now this is very exciting. Our first panelist, Ms. Mags, who has a new adorable puppy, if you're following her on Facebook. She is going to talk to us about this machine here, which I can barely wait to get my hands on. This is a laser etcher, right? Mags are calling it laser etcher, not laser printer, right? Did I lose Mags? And we can't hear you, Mags. You're somehow muted, maybe because it was your camera on there. You try to come back on. I will talk through this.
Okay.
Oh, wait, are you there?
Here,
Oh,
got
you're
me.
okay. Got you. Good.
Yeah,
Okay. So are they
So-
calling it a laser etcher or a laser printer officially?
They are officially calling it a laser printer, but what
Okay.
it is, in fact, is a laser cutter and a laser engraver. It does both of those things.
Yeah. Now, if you have, hi, Corinne. If you have a Curio does a lot of etching, but it's not like this that can cut through things and really etch really deep. It's really the next level. It's really cool. So here are some of the things that Mags has done.
Well, what started the whole thing was, if you go to that first picture of the beer of the beer ornament, I was doing these on my Curio, but I do some for a local brewery. And when they gave me the estimates that they wanted for last Christmas, it was like that's not, I mean, it's just, it gave us the excuse to get it.
So you could
So-
do production is what you're talking
So I
about.
could do production.
Right.
So instead of having to buy the blanks and do them on the curio, now I can just buy the black acrylic, engrave it, cut it, whole 9 yards, makes it much easier
Right.
for us. for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now someone, and that's a really good question. Julie wants to know, how do you vent yours? Did you buy the venting system, or you're just putting it out?
I did not buy the venting system. I have the Plus, which is the one in the middle. So
Mhm.
it's not the basic, it's not the Pro.
Mhm.
And it's vented, it sits in our garage and it's vented to the outside. But when we first got it, we just had it on the dining room table and vented it out of a window, and it was fine. It's just very noisy, and the acrylic, when it's cutting acrylic, it smells bad. So
Right.
we have it in the garage.
Got it.
So then I started doing a few more ornaments to add to because now we had the ability to do all kinds of stuff. When we were just doing the curio, we kept the curio busy just with the 3 pieces for the brewery, but now we were able to add more stuff to my Etsy site. And you can do acrylic, you can do MDF, you can do wood, and if you work with any of the Silhouette software, you're good to go. Because I do all of my designing in Silhouette software, save it as an SVG, and it loads right into the online interface that it has, and you're doing stuff within a few minutes. If you go to the next picture, which is barley, that ornament, that particular piece that we did within an hour of opening up the box and turning it on.
Yeah.
So it really is great for photo engraving. It's a really easy product to get started with, but you can take it so much further once you get in there and you learn how you can play with stuff.
All right, let's take some questions here. Everyone's like, "Wah, wah, 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 wah."
Yeah.
Terry, let's see, wants to know if you can cut foil. You know, like foil as thin as foil. I don't know. Can it cut foil, or would foil just fall apart?
I'm not sure. I know it cannot cut metal and it cannot engrave metal unless you use a special, there's a special paint that you can paint onto metal pieces, and the laser reacts with that and makes a dark impression, but it's not really engraving. If it's an anodized piece of metal, you can engrave through the anodization, I guess you would call it. It'll take the color off and take it back down to whatever color the metal is, but you cannot cut glass, you can't cut metal.
It's too reflective, I think, is the issue, right?
Well, no, and it's just not powerful enough. I mean, it is a 45-watt laser, so it is pretty powerful, but it's not that powerful. It cuts up to about a 1/4 inch.
Okay.
And it can engrave up to about 2 inches.
Yeah, it does have amazing potential that I know we haven't even all figured out. Okay, that answers that. Terry said, okay, what etcher is this? You use the Glowforge. The middle one is the Pro? No, I get their name. Yeah, I think it's the Pro,
I get
right?
the Plus. I have the Plus.
Plus. Okay, that's the middle
the
one.
difference is the basic one is a little bit weaker of a wattage. I think it's 40 maybe. The Plus, which I have, is a 45 watt, and the Pro is a little bit higher, and it has a pass through. So if you want to do bigger pieces, the body of the cutter takes about 12 by 19 sheets of whatever, and it pretty much cuts most of that. You still have a little bit extra, but with the Pro, you can actually, there's a pass through door, so you could actually do something much bigger.
I think I have a site open. Let me see. No, I
was going to say I had some of that stuff on my video, but these little thingies. This is a printed acrylic that I got from Craft Chameleon, and it's printed with a football design. So I cut them out then I did the vinyl is the white striping, and then I'm using a chalk pen, a chalk marker,
To
so
fill
that
in.
you
Mhm.
can, and then it wipes off and you can change it to whatever else you did. We did this for the Super Bowl weekend, and there's also a pair of earrings in there that
I
we
love it.
did.
Wait, I have earrings here. All right, let me take some more questions while we're going through some
Sure.
things here. Wait, let me back up. Okay, Terry, you got your question answered. People who are having any issues with sound, oh, they won't hear me. Hmm. Yeah. All right, I'll deal with that with another chat box. All right, we said what etcher it is. Let's see. The name brand. It's Glowforge.
Glowforge. And
Glowforge.
if you do want to end up buying one, you can use referral code.
Oh
You
yeah,
can
you'll
buy
save
through their
money.
site. You can also buy on Amazon. Of course, I don't know what Amazon is doing now in terms of shipping, but
Right.
and Glowforge has had some issue catching up with demand. I think for a while the basic was on back order for quite a while. We got our we got our plus in like less than a week.
And you know
But
what? And if they can't find it, again, just send us an email at
right, and I can
support@craftcast.com.
give you the referral code. I think it's $250 on the plus. I think it's $250 on the plus, and
That you
maybe free
save.
shipping.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's worth it. So just send us an email and we'll get you all
Yeah.
that if you're interested. Etch 2 inches deep, you said, right? Sybil wanted
Etched
to
2
know.
inches deep. Mhm.
That's so crazy. All right.
It's wild. I mean, it's just the things you can do. It's just crazy.
And okay,
especially if you have any experience with the Silhouette Studio software, you do need Business Edition because you have to save them as SVGs
right.
or PDFs. But it's made it so easy for me. There's just, I mean, there was nothing to get ready to do design work. I mean, it's so easy. This was something, we just lost our barley in November, and this was a piece that I just pulled in a paw design file and started playing around with it. And this is a photo frame that we have, and that's about maybe like 10 by 10 size wise. I did this is wood. This I believe was the maple. And then I didn't show the back, but on the back I cut out chipboard so that it's just like a regular, not a really expensive frame, but like a really, a nice frame. You do the offsets, and I was able to, there's a lot of potential there that I haven't even started.
Yeah, there is. And knowing that software is key.
It's all the key, because otherwise you'd need to know some of that other stuff, and I just don't have time to learn another software.
I know. We love it. So wait, let me show a few more pictures here. Did I get questions on the curio? We're showing lots of different videos. We do have, oh wait, does it cut chipboard? Bree wants to know.
Yes, it does cut
it does.
chipboard.
There you go. Kathy said we also use a heavy cardstock to make textures, so that's pretty cool. Do you prefer? Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, before the last retreat that I did, I actually made name stamps for people using thick acrylic. So I had different sizes of your name to do a signature stamp. And these ornaments that I'm showing right here, this was something fun I did for Christmas, where you take people's names and using the studio software and your replicate and rotation and all that kind of good stuff, you can make snowflake ornaments out of someone's name. If you go back 1, 2, 3, go back 3.
Go back 3, 1, 2.
Yeah, go back
here.
3.
Oh yeah. Got it. Fine.
And then what we're showing right now is a favor that I'm doing for friends for a wedding, which obviously has been delayed. But so there's the name snowflake. So by using your rotation stuff, you can create these cool snowflakes and engrave them and cut them out. This was the favor I was talking about. Obviously they have to postpone the wedding. But so the front is engraved with the maple leaf lines, and then this is going to be the back of it, and they're fitting it up as an ornament, and it'll be at each person's.
Very cool. And yes, we have metal clay coming up. Not to worry, we have it all today. Let's see. Can you use this on? Can you use this on metal clay? Are we cutting metal clay on that yet? I don't even know.
I don't know. You might be able to. I know you can't do polymer clay. You can't do anything that's plastic.
Okay, there you go.
Because
Someone
it's,
wanted to know
yeah,
about if
no,
you want it. Okay.
no, can't do anything that's plastic.
Okay.
So you
All
have
right.
to kind of be careful about that. But metal clay, to me, that seems like if you're using it, it depends on, I guess, what's in the binders. I mean, they're
Yeah.
organic binders, right? So maybe in theory you could. I just don't know if it would be worth it in the long run.
I
But
believe the company, we have a little quick video here. I'm just going to show you guys. And it's this, I bet, came from Craft Chameleon as well, right? The
yeah, so the base of this, the lighted base, that came from Craft Chameleon, but I engraved and cut out of the acrylic
the top piece.
the top part of it. You can, from her, you can get the shapes and you can engrave them on the curio.
Yes, I've done
But
that.
this
It's
I
fun.
just did all in one. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. This was one I just gave for a baby shower.
Oh, Sybil just said, I think that's a good point, Sybil. It would sinter the metal clay. Start
Oh,
doing
yes,
that.
it
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
Probably,
Not a good
yes.
thing.
Yes, not a good thing.
Hey, Sally, if you're there, can you just throw in for everyone Craft Chameleon link? It's a great source of buying
Yes,
things.
it's a great source.
And we want to really keep everyone going here. Can this etch on enameled glass?
Enameled glass. Well, it can etch glass. So I don't really see why it couldn't etch enameled.
If it
It's
can etch glass,
right?
it can etch enamel.
There you
Right.
go.
Yeah. So I think certainly it could.
And Raj, you can always ask over at Glowforge. They do have someone that helps with
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
You can cut polymer clay with a Cricut maker. Yes, you can, Donna. Thank you very much. Yep.
Yes.
We love all the machines for all the different things, the Curio, the Cricut, all of the above. I think I got every question here. We had one of it actually etching, but because we're so last minute here, it didn't totally download. I'll see if it
It's
did
got
by
like
the
5
end.
minutes left.
We'll see at the end. Maybe I can play it. So, all right. Isn't that cool? I mean, come on, so much fun.
It's so much fun. I mean, just thinking of all the, I mean, if you go on Pinterest and put in Glowforge projects, you will just be amazed.
Yeah, it's
at
getting
all the
wild
different
now.
stuff. I haven't scratched the surface of this yet.
I know. And don't worry, we'll have classes on all this. We're not kidding.
Yep, we will at some point.
I think we got everything here. Let me just quickly look. How thick of wood can it cut? Donna just wants to know. I think you said
Most of it a quarter inch. If it's plywood that's bought through like Home Depot or something like that, sometimes you might have an issue cutting all the way through on the set using the settings that are for plywood, because it depends on how they've glued it together and everything. Because
Right.
we played around with some stuff and we had some issues with stuff that Andy had just lying around. But there's plenty. Actually, Home Depot is now carrying online plywoods that are cut to size, especially for the Glowforge.
yes.
So there are plenty of places. You don't have to get the materials through Glowforge. So there's several places that you can get stuff that's ready made to go. And what we did on the these cherry ornaments that we did, the maple leaves, we finished that first and then put masking paper over it to engrave it. So once you take the masking off of that, it takes away any char marks.
Right. We've seen that.
You would get.
Celeste and Donna. Okay. So and Sally, the glow lamps there was just type in Craft Chameleon. I'm sorry, I don't have that link right there.
Yeah.
Craft Chameleon. And then the machine is Glowforge. And if you need anything else, just send us an email at support@craftcast.com. Craft Chameleon online store for materials. Craft Chameleon is for materials, have all kinds of great stuff. And Kathy, it says online it will engrave metal. It's just, I don't know if that's true or not. Got to find.
It will engrave anodized metal.
Right, that's
and
what it is.
You can engrave metal, but you have to buy a special paint.
Right.
To paint the surface with first, and then there's a chemical reaction that happens with the paint that from what I understand makes it look engraved, but it's not actually engraved, but it is permanent.
There you go.
Whatever that means.
All right. This is exciting. Thank you, honey.
Yeah.
Thank you for throwing
You're
that all
welcome.
together. That is so much fun. You're the best. And also, Max
Thank
has
you.
lots of classes on craftcast.com and her polymer clay and cutting with curio on the software, all kinds of great stuff. So check out all of her classes. All right, up next, Ms. Pam East. I called her Miss Pam West one time, which was weird because I knew another Pam West.
I remember that.
I know, it was like, that's not right. So Ms. Pam, now she's a master with all of the metal clay. All of you that wanted to watch some metal clay things, let me tell you few things here. She's going to show you about a channel that she has that is really cool. She started playing around with something called Twitch. I'm going to put it in here for everyone. Keep that little link and her Twitch blog. She goes on and does all kinds of, we'll see a little bit of it in a second. So demos, like it was what night were you doing that, hon? I've lost track of time at this point.
I was on Monday night. I've been on like
all the time. Yeah.
4 days a week since I started doing it. I started about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And, at first it was just 2 days a week and then it was 3 days a week. And now I'm home all the time. So
she puts
it's
on
like,
her camera.
Let me get on Twitch.
Yeah. She puts on her camera and shows you what she's doing on her desk. So it's a great way to see someone. It's free. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you can just log in, and I'll talk more about that at the end of my little segment.
Here. Okay, wait. Wait, hold on. Someone's mic is being weird.
Somebody needs to mute.
Yeah, someone needs to mute.
I think it's Julia. Can you mute? Yeah.
Yeah, good.
There we go.
Okay, good.
All right.
So let me just tell a little bit. So first of all, Pam has amazing freaking classes over at craftcast.com. She has amazing free classes at craftcast.com. So I log on to Twitch and she's all of a sudden talking about she's going to fix this broken piece. And then she gave it away to someone randomly. So I thought that was great. So this was the broken piece and this is how it looked when it was done. Hello. I kept looking close going, what? I can't see anything.
Yeah. Before, then afterwards, that was when it was all finished. But don't get too excited, about, oh my God, how did she put that back together? I did not put it back together. If you go back to the broken piece, I want to talk about that for just a minute.
Okay,
I want to talk about why it broke. So what happened with this was it fell on the floor and I did not realize it had fallen on the floor and I stepped on it with my hiking boot. And it smashed to pieces and it should not have. It should have bent. I mean, bending was pretty reasonable. And actually the thin part of the bale breaking is also not unreasonable. It's those bales are very delicate and, you can gently bend things. There's a big difference between gently forming and bending and stomping on something.
Yeah.
A Cartier bracelet's going to break if you stomp on it. But when I picked it up and I started playing with it, those pieces were just snapping in my fingers. And what I realized was that the piece was not fired correctly. And I have a firing schedule that I use when I'm firing low fire gemstones. That is a Orissa garnet. And, I buy them at Gem Resources International and their standards are you can fire them at 1200 to 1250, but if you get up to 1400, 1450, they're going to go dark or they're going to go metallic. And that has actually been my experience.
Okay.
Whenever I've high fired them, they've gone really dark or they've gone metallic on me. So I've been firing these pieces at like, 1210 for an hour. And that's been a reasonable firing for art clay. It's been working, but I can guarantee that this piece was not fired that way. I think what happened was I reset the temperature, but not the time. And so it was massively underfired. So what I decided to do was to go ahead and cut that bezel out of the piece. And this little bit of video here is me cutting the piece out. And I did not salvage the pendant. The only thing I salvaged was the gemstone in the bezel. The rest of it went into my scrap bin. It'll go get recycled. But I didn't want to try and put that thing back together. I just wanted to salvage that gemstone. So this is me sawing. I'm not a huge, is that video running?
It won't really run. It's running, but not moving. I don't know why. You know what?
Okay.
It probably, because usually we get to check all of this stuff, didn't download correctly because it stops right there, even though it's running. But at least this
Oh.
shows people, yeah, no, that sucks.
All right, so a few comments on the sawing. First of all, when I'm doing my Twitch stream, I'm working at my desk, which is not the appropriate height for sawing. You know, I want to make it very clear that you should not be sawing down in your lap the way I'm doing in this video. You should be up, you know, around your nose. There's a reason that benches are high, and you know, it's not a comfortable angle for your arm. However, I had this portable bench pin, and it was a way for me to show sawing it out. And I sawed out the gemstone and in the bezel. So
Got it.
I basically removed the bezeled stone from the piece. I took the scraps and threw them in my scrap bucket. And the only thing I preserved out of this was that set gemstone. And then you know, I'm sorry you don't get to see the whole thing of me sawing it out.
But wait, I bet
But
it's on your Twitch library, right?
it is. If you go out to Twitch, and I'm sure that Allison is going to throw up my Twitch
Yep,
stream
I did
channel
already.
for you. If you go out there, and there's some tabs at the top, and one of them says videos, and you can go look at my past video. And one of them says Pam struggling with this jeweler's saw. That's the one that you want to look at. And so that I have a highlight of that where you can watch me sawing that out. And getting it cut out of the piece.
And this, let's see if this one works. I think it's
Now
just a
let's see the
problem
other
with
one.
the Twitch thing here for some reason. But that's what it looks like when you're looking at Twitch. You see Pam
Yeah.
on a camera. She shoots down on what she's doing.
I'm always in the upper right hand corner. Lower right hand corner is some kind of a slideshow going on. I was doing a gemstone slideshow. This one's going a little better.
No,
Unless
it
just
stopped
froze up.
too. You know what I think it is when you copy them or something, it just didn't copy correctly because it is moving, but the video's not moving. So
We didn't get a chance to do much with this because, you know, like I said, I was throwing this together at the last minute yesterday.
Right.
And that was the first time I ever tried to download one of my videos from Twitch.
Okay.
But what you can see there is I've remade the piece.
Got it.
And the gemstone, I got it all cleaned up. I filed the edges. And then I painted the edges with art clay silver overlay paste. Because whenever I'm trying to attach new clay to fired silver, I get a better bond, a stronger bond, if I use overlay paste. So the edge of that piece was painted with overlay paste. And then I used a syringe to syringe it into that V in the bottom of that pendant. And I'm really sorry you don't get to see all that. I thought it was a really good video clip. But again, that is out on Twitch. You know, you can go out. It was the same stream. I cut the piece out and reset it all in one stream. And then the next time I came back, I was doing polishing and patinas, and I had fired it. Oh, let me talk about how I refired it, because I still had the same issue with needing to low fire that gemstone and having that very delicate bail. And I wanted to get it really well centered. And somebody told me, Mary Virilli told me that if you fire gemstones like this in carbon, they don't get metallicized or dark. And so I thought, well, that's worth trying. But I was a little apprehensive about the fine silver clays are not designed to be sintered in carbon. And I was a little apprehensive about that. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. It's not something I've ever tested. But I thought, let's go ahead and do a 2-phase firing. And that's exactly what I did. So I did 30 open shelf, 30 minutes at 1200 degrees, which is not sintered enough. I know that's not sintered enough, but it was enough to get the binders completely burned out and ready to go for a carbon firing. And then I completed the sintering in carbon, and I did a ramp speed of 1500. I fired it up to 1450, and I held it at 1450 for an hour. Because by God, I wanted to make sure it was well sintered this time, and it worked. It worked beautifully. The gemstone did not discolor at all. So I was able to take what had previously been only a low fire gemstone for me and high fire it. And now I really want to try that on peridot and some of the other gemstones and that I've had trouble with, and see if I can get them to fire correctly in carbon without discoloring, so I can get the higher firing, get the metal sintered better, but keep the color on my gemstones.
Sounds
And
good. All right, here are two good
so,
questions. Julie wants to know, what are the tests used to make sure a piece is centered?
well, one thing, you know, I have heard, now this is not a test I have done. I tend to try and bend things, which is, you know, dicey. But you know, you know, if I can give it a, you know, if I can bend it, and you know, I drop it on the table. I want it to sound like metal. I don't want it to sound hollow. You know, I've heard about water drop tests where if you put a water drop on it, if it soaks in, it's not centered. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never tried that. But mostly I do adjustments to these bales. I just very gently try and bend these bales because they're always a little off when I get them out of the kiln.
Okay.
And with the firings I've been doing, they've been coming out just fine. That, you know, I can bend them and adjust them and dap and so this was all done, and I ended up giving that away. Every Sunday I do a giveaway on my Twitch stream. So subscribers to my Twitch stream can come and watch me work, and then I'll give something that I made away every Sunday.
And there you go. That's what it looks like.
This is what it looks like when you're on Twitch.
Right.
And by the way, Paula Long won that piece. I don't know if she's here today, but Paula won that piece.
She was very happy.
She was extremely happy. That was
all right. Wait, let me
gratifying.
ask you. We have some other really good questions here. I don't want to miss them.
Okay.
Okay. Nancy wants to know, what is the overlay paste? I guess
So
what
Art
kind?
Clay Silver makes two different styles of paste. They make their regular clay paste, and then they make overlay paste, which creates a very strong bond with non-porous surfaces. So you can use it on to attach clay to metal, clay to ceramic glazes. I do a ton with ceramic glazes right here on CraftCast. You can use it on glass, and it gives a much better result in my experience than the non-overlay pastes. It bonds perfectly, and I can do sgraffito and it doesn't chip off, and it's really a marvelous, marvelous product. And it's just got a slightly different binder to it, and it creates this beautiful bond with the non-porous surfaces.
Oh, Helen, she wants to know the temperatures in Celsius and Fahrenheit. Do you know them off the top of your head?
Oh,
Oh, wait,
God,
we
off
could.
the top of my head.
You send us an email, and we'll get that back to you.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know them off the top of my head.
Helen, just send us an email.
I should at this stage of the game. I do it whenever I write my notes. When I'm doing a regular CraftCast that I've prepared for, I always put the Celsius up. And when I write magazine articles and blogs, I always put the Celsius up. But I have to look it up every time. It's not natural for me.
Yeah, I could get
Sorry.
that easily. Julie, how long? Julie wants to know how long at the 1450.
In the carbon, I did it for an hour. That was probably overkill. But I did it because I did the really long firing because because it broke before. I wanted to be 100% sure it wasn't going to break again.
Got it. And Sally wanted to know, is that the carbon with or without a lid?
I do it with a vented lid. I use the restaurant pans and the lid with the spoon rest. So it's a vented lid.
And Lisa wants to know, what was the name of that gemstone place that you use again?
Gem Resources International. They're marvelous.
Yeah,
Shirley
everyone
Mandel
loves
over
them.
there. I've been buying from them for about 15 years, and I have great trust with them. And Judy Weirs did all their gemstone testing for which could be fired in metal clay.
Oh, Sybil just said, you can convert them on Google, the temperatures. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, we forget that, Sybil. Paulette wants to know, where did you get the texture for this piece?
Oh, thank you for asking. That is one of my textures.
There you go.
I designed that one. That is on Metal Clay Supply, and that one is called Jasmine Dream. And it's one of their flex mats, and that's one that I drew.
I love it.
Thank you.
And everyone, Yeah, that was a perfect question. And everyone, just know that in our normal classes where you pay and take everything, you get a PDF with all the resource links. We just didn't have time to do all this for this quick one here. So, but we are happy. If you can't remember, just send us an email at support@craftcast.com and we'll get you linked up. Darren said those are all fantastic textures you've made over there. All right, here's the last question, unless I've missed something. Martha wants to know, can you overfire?
As long as you don't melt it, no.
It's a good.
You know, silver melts at 1761. I never will go over 1650. And theoretically, you could leave it in there for days, but there's this thing called the law of diminishing returns. You know, it's like if I fire it for an hour or I fire it for 2 hours, how much stronger is it going to get? Well, you know, not enough that I could measure. So it becomes not worth it to keep running my kiln that long.
Got it. Good answer.
I do want to talk a little more about Twitch. If we can go back to that
Yeah,
Twitch
sure.
stream screen. And because this is a brand new thing for most everybody, I just wanted to let you know a little bit about this. Twitch is a video streaming platform that was developed by the gamers, the people who are out there doing video games who wanted to share their gaming with their friends. And so when you log on, 90% of what you're going to see is gamers.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And if you use the link she gave you, you'll just come straight to my screen and you'll be safe. But there are a lot of makers and crafting. I'm in the makers and crafting, and I've been watching woodworkers and metalsmiths and leather workers and knitters and sewers so there's this small community of makers and crafters on Twitch. And I'm not the only one. I think I'm the only metal clay person at this point, but it's really fabulous,
fun.
and it's really easy. I want you to know that if you click the link to my channel when I'm live, you will immediately see me live. You don't have to sign in or anything. It's really easy to use. It's as easy as clicking a YouTube link.
No, it's great fun.
But if you want to participate, open an account, and there's a little sign up button up in the upper right hand corner. It's super easy. There's no money involved. You don't have to give them a credit card. It's just they want your name and your email address, and they're going to sign you up with an account. And you know, it's super easy to get signed up. Then the other things I kind of wanted to go through, if you look at those numbers across the top, just to give you a little tour. Number one, that's where the channel name is, and my channel name is Pam East Metal Clay, all run together. So if you get onto Twitch and you don't see me, you can search for that. The home screen is where I am doing the live stream. And if you look at number 7, there's a little arrow down to a little box that says live. And if you don't see that live, that little red live, then you're watching a recording. You're not watching me live.
There you go.
So make sure you see the live. If you don't, there's nothing wrong with watching the recording, but if you ask me a question, obviously I'm not going to answer it if you're watching a recording. That's come up a couple of times.
You know, it's great to be able to see masters at work and just watch a bit here and there and see. You learn so much just from watching like that. And it's an easy app to go on. You'll figure it out in no time at all. I think the only thing you do get is when you sign up, before it starts, you get a little commercial from something and then you go live.
Yeah, there are ads.
Yeah, but it's easy.
Number 3 on this screen is videos. That is all my streams that I've already done and are recorded. So you can go watch. If you click that button that says videos, you can go watch what I've already streamed. And it's a lot more casual than CraftCast. I'm not teaching projects.
Yeah,
I'm just doing my work, and I'm answering questions, and I'm visiting. And it's a lot of fun. But I want to be clear that that when I have a whole project to present, then I'm going to be on CraftCast.
Yeah, the tutorials.
It's not a tutorial. These are not tutorials, but you can watch me working and see what my process is.
Right.
And I answer every question that people ask. People ask all kinds of questions. If you look at 8, you can see the chat stream there, and that's where people are asking the questions.
No, it's great.
Do click the little heart. Number 4 is the little heart that will follow me.
Sorry. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the little heart number 4 will follow me, and then you'll get, and there's a little bell. You can turn notifications on and off. If notifications annoy you, you can turn them off. If you want to know when I'm live, turn it on and you'll get a little notification. And then there's the subscribe button. I think that's the only thing I haven't talked about, number 6. And you can subscribe. And if you're an Amazon, Prime subscriber, you can actually subscribe to my channel for free. And if you are not an Amazon Prime subscriber, then you can pay $4.99 to subscribe. It's $4.99 a month. And you don't have to do that. You can watch without subscribing. And it's always free. I never lock people out. However, I do a giveaway every Sunday, and that is only open to subscribers. And you get ad-free viewing if you're a subscriber. You don't have to watch the ads if you're a subscriber. But anyway, so that's Twitch.
It's fun.
One more thing I wanted to say, and I think you've got a link to share for this, and that is if you want to see this graphic again and you want to read a little write-up about it and how to get an account and all of that, on my website, I have a little Twitch 101.
Yep,
and
I'll put it in one more time for you guys.
And you can go read the Twitch 101 and what is Twitch, and on my blog, and that will tell you a little more about it. And like I said, I officially stream normally Wednesdays at 11. Today, because of CraftCast, I'm doing it at 5. So if you want to check it out tonight, I will be on at 5 o'clock tonight on Twitch live streaming, and you can join me there. And every Sunday at 2. And Sundays are when I do my giveaways.
I think we should all go on and ask all kinds of crazy questions.
You should
tonight.
overwhelm me. Come overwhelm me on Twitch today at 5.
Oh, we love it.
That's
and thank you, honey. And there's so many new streaming services are going to be coming out, especially because of what's going on right now. So it's great. They're all making them easy. Take advantage of it. You learn so many fun new things. So.
I liked Twitch because it was super easy.
It is easy.
You're in and up and running, with the click of a button.
We love that. Thank you.
Can I throw in one more thing?
Yeah.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
If you're watching on a phone or an iPad, you do need to download the app.
Okay.
So there is
true for most
Twitch
things.
app. So you'll have to get the app if you're watching on a phone or an iPad. Oh, a tablet. Okay, that was it.
Applause and thank you, darling. Thank
you.
All right, up next we have Sulie. Sulie's going to show us some, I don't even know, but it looked really fun. You're doing gold plating or something, right, Sulie?
Gold plating. Yeah,
I usually know a little bit more what's going on. That looks like Mr. Wizard's going on here. So you're going to gold plate silver clay, right?
Yeah, and the cool thing is I've been doing this, and it's really, as you can see, just kind of the poor man's way to do this. You can do it, of course, at home if you have an electroplating machine, but since a lot of people don't, and since I don't either when I'm traveling to teach, I developed this system, which is what you need is a 6-volt battery, just, a normal lantern battery.
Oh, that's what those were.
And those alligator clips, I guess some places are called crocodile clips with alligator clips. And you need 2 containers. The smaller container in the middle contains the gold plating solution, and the larger one on the outside contains warm water, because the gold plating grips better if it's warm. Okay. You also need an anode, which conducts the electricity, and I simply use a screw or a threaded rod. This is it was a long screw, and we just chopped the top off. Cool. And the way you do it is
now wait, first wait, back up 1 second here. What kind of gold plating solution are you using?
Well, it's just commercial gold plating solution. You can get it on Amazon. There's other places you can get it. It's quite pricey, but the good news is, first of all, you only need a little bit, and second of all, you can use it over and over and over until it just doesn't plate anymore. And I'm not a chemist, but I can tell you a little bit about why it works. Electroplating is the deposition of a metal coating onto an object by putting a negative charge on it and putting it into a solution which contains a metal salt, in this case, gold. The metal salt contains positively charged metal ions, which are attracted to the negatively charged object, which is our piece, and they're reduced to the metallic form on it.
Now, I did this like 25 years ago. There was cyanide in it. You had to be really careful, gloves and goggles. Still true?
Right.
Okay.
There is or there are solutions that do have cyanide. The ones I use, they don't contain cyanide, but they are acidic.
Okay.
And so I usually do it. As you can see, I don't have my gloves on the picture, but I usually do it wearing gloves.
Okay.
Another reason it's important to wear gloves, and of course your safety glasses and
Right.
the usual precautions you would take.
Right.
And the main reason also to wear gloves, in addition to your safety, is that when I have a piece that's freshly fired, I put on my gloves while it's still fired, before I even touch it. And I take the piece and I brush it with a wire brush, and then I burnish it like crazy. And if I'm in my home studio, I tumble it. But when I teach this on the road, I have the students, I give them agate burnishers, and I say just burnish, 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 burnish. And the longer and better you burnish, the nicer the result will be.
With the gold making a smoother coating, in other words.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we don't want to touch the piece with our fingers, because we don't want to get any skin oils on the piece.
Got it. All right. So there's the basic setup, basic science kit, getting that set up, your battery, your wires, and your solution in the middle of something. Do you use it all like a candle warming plate at all underneath it?
I haven't, because I don't think you would want to get it too hot. And also it goes very, very quickly, especially if your solution is warm. I mean, you can gold plate a piece like in a minute. It just kind of depends. What's really important, again, is that anode, in this case, a screw.
Which is this
anode,
piece right here,
Can you go back?
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah, there.
Okay.
You can see that, I've used that threaded steel rod, and I've clipped it to the side of the container containing the gold plating solution.
Okay.
And the reason that's really important is because you're going to clip the other clip, in other words, the negative charge, onto your piece. And you're going to very lightly just kind of move it through the gold plating solution, but you mustn't touch the anode, because then you get a short. I mean, nothing explodes, but it's not a good thing to do.
Okay.
And so it's important to just kind of make sure that anode is clipped onto there. So you just kind of move your piece just gently back and forth, and you'll immediately see a bubbling. And when you see a bubbling, it means the bubbling comes from the anode, and that means that you've done it correctly. And you need to look at your piece about every 10 seconds, because it goes quite quickly.
Now, what clay was that? What clay was that they used? What metal clay?
Excuse me. That was art clay silver.
Okay.
Just completely normal, torch fired too, since, again, as I said, I do it a lot, on the road. And so these are just some earrings that I've gold plated. And
that came out outrageous, that ring. Now, we have a class on making those bling rings, and gold plated. That's outrageous. It almost looks like 22 karat gold.
Well, actually, the solution is 24 karat.
Okay.
And I just kind of, I made just this last week, because I was going to teach it in England, and I wanted a real, pompous ring, and this just really came out so neat. Yeah, I think, sparkly.
Oh yeah, I love them in silver and gold. Celeste wants to know, how long will that gold plating last?
That's a thing. I have to confess, I haven't solved this problem yet. I found that these gold plated things, if they get kind of dull, you can tumble them, no problem. But if you go to polish them with one of those little polishing sponges, sometimes the plating comes off. And so what I've done is, on some of my pieces, I've used a protective coating of nail polish. When I was making this picture you're seeing here is one of the 3-sided beads. And when I wanted to find a coating, I used, I made a couple of silver beads, and I put a nail polish on one, and Protected Clear on the other. And then I tumbled them like crazy, like 2 hours, and then I put them in liver of sulfur. And I found that the nail polish was a much better protectant.
Interesting.
And so that's why, if people are concerned about the gold coming off, I just recommend a coating of clear nail polish.
Very cool. All right, Sybil wants to know, did you put the stones in the gold solution too?
Yes,
Good
sure.
question.
The piece is completely finished, and like I said, just tumbled really well or burnished really well if you don't have a tumbler. And it really, really looks pretty.
It sure does. All right, Kathy wants to know, what about plating the findings? Some good question. I've had a very hard time finding decent findings that don't cost an arm and a leg. Good question, Kathy.
Yeah, it is a really good question. To my knowledge, you can gold plate any metal, but it does need to be clean. And so, you know, if you've purchased the findings, I would say, you know, give them a scrub with dishwashing liquid and water and keep them as clean as you can.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, Raj wants to know, Raj is already thinking here, can you enamel over gold plating?
I doubt it. I think
doubt
the
it
gold
too.
would probably burn right off. I
Yeah.
mean, Pam would be the one to ask about that, but I don't think it would work.
I don't think so either. Pam, are you still on? Did you listen to that one? I don't think it would either, having done a little enameling and all of that.
It would not work.
Yeah, thank
Right.
you.
It would not work. The gold and silver are infinitely soluble, and in the amount of time it would take to enamel it, the gold would just soak into the
Enamel or something.
silver.
Yeah.
And
Oh, got it.
disappear.
Got it. All right. We thought so. Thank you, darling. But I wonder if you could, well, hey, I gold plated my very first enamel piece that I did in studying ancient goldsmithing in New York. You had to plate it afterwards. So you did the enamel and you set it, and then you gold plated. And it still looks gold.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like 25 years ago. So you could work around it,
Yeah.
Raj, and figure out a way to work
The
it.
gold plating after enameling would not be a problem.
Right. Okay, good. Yeah, that'd be great. That's what I'm thinking. I've done
Oh,
that.
that
Wait
would
a
be
minute.
neat. I never thought of that.
Yeah, that was an assignment. You had to do it that way. Yeah, so that's really cool. All right, Bettina wants to know, maybe a stupid question. No, not possible. No stupid question. Is it only possible to plate metals? Meaning?
No, it's not a stupid question at all. What you can, oh gosh, I believe it's called electroforming. Somebody chime in if it's the wrong word. You can take, for example, a pine cone or organic material, and there's a spray that you need to spray onto it. I know for copper, I'm not sure if this works for gold, but probably would. And this spray contains metal, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. You can. I've seen it. I've seen it. You can actually do it.
So actually, I know that works for copper plating.
There's actually a class on CRAFTCAST that is, no, what's the rubber coating called? Plastic coat. But it's the same kind of thing used, because she plastic coats organic materials. So yes, Kathy, we can figure that out. And look up that class. It'll give you some ideas. It's called plastic coating things, which is also great looking in the colors. Margaret wants to know, is she referring to UV nail polish? Good question.
No,
Nope.
Just completely normal.
Okay.
Completely normal nail polish.
Amy wants
Clear,
to know,
obviously.
Still wondering about the setup. How does the first, second, third floors go together? The wires are different colors. How do they relate? Okay, we're going to go back over that in 1 second.
Okay.
Let me just get the rest of the questions here. Oh, I answered the question. Yep, we did. Not familiar with the 6-volt battery. Okay, we're going to go over all of that in 1 second. I don't know, Bettina, if you can do polymer clay. Maybe you can. Let's see.
I doubt it.
Who knows? You can seal anything. Electroforming, Penny is saying, electroforming, you can seal any organic items, then use the conductive paint, that's what it's called, thank you, where you want the metal, mostly done in copper, but can be done in silver, trickier and more expensive, of course, and you can then plate the copper. Thank you, Penny. All right, let's go back over these 3 pictures here so everyone can understand the setup. There we go. There's your battery. And the batteries, those don't have on-off switches. They're just that.
No.
Right, okay.
And in this case, I have, obviously I took these photos at different times, which is why I use different wires. But the black wire in this case is holding the anode, which means that's the positive charge. And the red wire is running from the negative charge, holding the piece in the solution. So all you have to really remember is, which is negative and which is positive. And the negative charge is the one you're going to have holding your piece.
Got it.
And so again, just to review, that the setup is simply 2 containers. Here you see I've just used a votive container to actually hold the plating solution. It needs to be clean, of course. That's obviously the anode suspended in it and clipped to the side, which means it's the positive current. And then the piece in this case held by the green wire, simply because I had it around, is the negative current. And one thing I did forget to mention, is when you're plating it, you want to always rinse it off in clean water before you touch it.
Oh yeah,
So when you're
you got to be
finished, you know,
safe with these chemicals, guys. That's for
of
sure.
course.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
Is the anode steel?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
You can also use graphite, but frankly, I haven't found a graphite that's small enough for my purposes. Because I guess if you're gold plating, you know, big objects, you have bigger clips and all of that. And I even bought some graphite anodes on Amazon, but they were much too thick.
Very cool.
So and you know, steel is small and doesn't get in the way.
We love it. Also, there's Pam. I know you're still on. What's your free one that we have? It's gold plating, but a different kind of gold plating. It's gold paint, right? We have that over at CraftCast too as well. If you want to work with that material, and it's a free video. Which one is it,
My
Pam?
free one is accent gold.
Accent gold,
for
right?
Silver.
Yeah, yeah.
It's accent rose gold and accent gold for silver, and it is free. It's I made that one available for free.
So look at that too, guys. You have lots of ways to add golden colors. That's really fun.
I think don't I have a free Kembu? No, my Kembu one isn't free, but my.
Oh right, the Kembu one is a whole tutorial, right?
But that's another way to get gold on there.
Exactly. All different ways. And Anita, okay, you can use graphite paint for electroforming organic materials. Thank you, Anita. I love we have all these smart people on here too.
Mm-hmm.
Is the piece, okay, good. Here's a good last question. Ursula wants to know, is the piece hung by a wire right there, or is it clipped with the clip?
It's clipped. Okay. But it's a great question. You can hang it by a wire, but I find it's not necessary. And if your solution is nice and warm, usually the part of the piece that's being clipped will plate as well. In other words, you don't have to necessarily move the clip around, but it's a good thing to check. You know, like in other words, in this piece, it's one of those small beads. So I've plated it and then I've rinsed it and I've removed the clip and I've checked, okay, is the part that was under the clip still silver or has it been plated? And most of the time it's plated. Sometimes you just simply, you know, put the clip someplace else on the piece and put in the solution again for 10 seconds or so.
Right.
Fun. And again, when you're finished plating it, it's a kind of a dingy gold, but as soon as you tumble it for a few minutes or also burnish it, it gets really, really pretty and shiny.
I love it. I love it. And you guys check out Sulie's classes. This is so fun. She has a bunch of classes, but I love these big bling rings. It's just fun to do it in gold too. So check all of that out over at craftcast.com. Does any of your gold get wasted being plated on the clip? Oh.
Well, I mean, some of it does attach to the clip, but I mean, it's so minuscule. And again, you can, you know, you can really use the solution over and over. And
yeah,
over
I remember that.
over.
Yeah, like forever there. So.
And there's no way around it as far as I know.
Yeah,
well, maybe if you put it on a wire, but then you'd have the same thing because then you'd have
stuff on the wire.
The solution on the wire. Exactly.
Yeah. I think I did it with just putting on a wire, but it was just binding. It was the same thing. So one or the other doesn't really matter. Thank you, darling. Thanks for getting that together. That's so fun. We love it. Love it. Love it. It all looks great. That was Miss Sulie Girardi showing us how to make gold plating. How much fun is that? Check out all of her classes as well. She has great stuff. Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
All right, next, Ms. Lora Hart. Aren't you next? Yes, you are. What are you showing us, darling? So. You are. You're number 4. Whoops, wait, I just went past yours. I have no idea what you're showing us, but I know it looks good. So tell us about it.
Well, I'm kind of obsessed with making these amphora, and I keep trying to figure out different ways to decorate them. And I saw, I don't know, some kind of an image of an octopus. And so I thought, oh, well, I'll have an octopus grasping my amphora. So this is just my process of making him. And the first thing I did, and this is Cypress copper clay, and you can see there's also a silver one behind there. It's probably PMC3. So I made a bunch of tentacles and I attached those first and smoothed down where the body was, did a little joining in between, like the webbing between your fingers. I wanted to get a little bit of webbing between his legs. And I know that at least with my students, people sometimes have problems with coils cracking. And I think the reason they have the problems is because once you're rolling the coil, as you're rolling it, you're creating a little bit of wind, and that's drying it out. And simply the amount of time that the coil is being exposed to air as it's being rolled also dries it out. So before you want to bend it or curl it the way I have made these tentacles kind of wave around, you want to put water on top, water underneath, and let that water soak in. So basically, you're slightly rehydrating the clay, and then it will move for you without cracking. So this photograph is showing how I attempted to make his little bulbous head. And I made it dry, and I think I tried to form it over a pencil with an eraser. And as it was drying, I stuck my little pinky finger under there and tried to form it a little bit more. And I didn't want to make it a solid mass because lots of clay, very heavy. So this is only the top part of his head. And then I did the same thing for the bottom half, and I attached it and filled and repaired and made it all look like one piece. So
that looks great, though, from your finger and an eraser. It looks great.
Yeah, basically I tried to make a pinch pot, but making a pinch pot out of metal clay is not the same as making a pinch pot out of ceramic clay. So I really did have to do this in two halves.
Cool, but it's possible, and you did it, and
yeah.
Oh, look at that. That's
so there
fun.
he is, all finished, and I made him some eyes with natural sapphires. I'm relatively happy with him. I think if you're going to look at this guy in relation to a real octopus, his head is much too small. But it was an experiment, and I'm happy with it, and I will probably do it again.
There he is, going to be fired.
Yes, so there it is. I am burning out the carbon, and this is the same guy. I just transferred it into black and white because I was going to put it up on Instagram. So it's just a black and white shot.
Of the same,
so
okay.
The burnout portion, I just laid him down there, and I did the burnout on top of my carbon, but left the lid off. And then the next picture shows that I placed the amphora standing straight up and buried it in carbon, but you can see that the opening is protected by a tea strainer, a stainless steel strainer. And then I piled more carbon on top of that so that I could do the sintering portion of the firing.
Got it. All right. That's it. Okay. All right. Here's a question. Sally wants to know, could you make a copper base and a silver octopus?
I haven't done very much experimenting with mixing of the metals. So I don't know for sure. Silver does not want to be totally buried in carbon, so you would have to figure out how to do the burnout firing. I would probably try and completely fire the copper amphora, and then I would add fresh clay of silver to that. And then the way the octopus is, it would actually be a mechanical capture with all those tentacles reaching around. And then I would refire it in just an open kiln atmosphere. So this is what it looked like when it was all finished and polished and ready to go.
Very cool. Julie wants to know, what is your carbon container?
I bought an expensive carbon container from Martha Bigger. She has, I can't remember what it is. I don't know, maybe 900 stainless steel. I don't know what it is, but it's a fancy schmancy kind of stainless steel that can take very, very high temperatures and doesn't spall. So I don't have to do any of the messy clean out. So for me, it was worth it to spend some money on the container. At some point, those restaurant containers need to be replaced. They do deteriorate, they do spall all over your kiln, which has to be cleaned out or should be cleaned out. And at some point, they start to deform and bubble and get funky. So this is the only container I use now, and I really love it. And it does have a vented lid that fits right on it, and it fits beautifully into the SC2.
Kiln, okay. Miss Katie wants to know, what type of carbon did you use?
This carbon is from PMC Connection. I bought a whole bunch before they closed their doors. But I think what it is it's the carbon that Hadar recommends. So I think Cool Tools sells it.
What is Martha Bigger's, what is their website again called? I'm just trying to give that out to all.
She doesn't actually have a website. So you would want to make friends with her, and her Facebook
Does she have a
handle
Facebook? Yeah.
is Ed Martha Bigger, Biggar. Ed is her husband.
I'm sending it out to all you guys.
Ed Martha Bigger. And you just friend her and she'll talk to you all about it. She doesn't have an actual business going with that.
Right, she's good.
Yeah.
With the different containers they have. I gave that out to, did I spell it wrong? It's Biggar. I think I put out ER to everyone. Sorry about that. Yeah, find her on Facebook and she'll help you out. Well, that's sure fun. Now, I got to do a little CraftCast sort of commercial here. Wait, where is everything? Because you have fabulous classes over at CraftCast. And
thank you.
I mean, you guys want to learn so many of these things. Plus, there's tons of free ones. Lora did last summer, we were calling it a boot camp, 3 days, all great projects. Check out those. There's the bling rings. There's just so many fun things. And no, I haven't made any of those things, but I'm determined to.
Someday.
Yes. Oh, and don't forget, use the code, save 30%, still be extended. Use the code SPRING2020, one word. And if something happens and you forget the code, just email us. We'll refund you. We fix everything. We're good at that. All right. Thank you, Ms. Lora Hart. That was fun. Fun metal clay thing. Thank you. Ms. Julia Ray is up next. Julia, are you there? Can you hear us? Is she there? Julia, hello. Yes, she is.
Can you hear me?
There,
yes.
I can hear you now. We can hear you, darling. I love this. You sent us a little video of your studio, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I've just been away for a weekend at the You Can Make It conference in the UK, which was mad and fantastic. And this is just me. I've just come back into the studio and I'm all set up for a class that was supposed to be running at the weekend. And of course, that's now, I've now had to change that around a bit.
Right.
But you can see the beautiful calm in my studio here. This is just all set up and ready for my students.
It looks fun.
Thank you. And so I just thought I'd pan around a little bit so you could see a little bit of the sort of, the rest of the studio. And I'm just back from You Can Make It. And then here we go.
Oh.
So this is what it looks like when you come back. And it's like, I've got to find everything I need. And everything's coming out. So it was a little bit mad in there today. It's still looking a bit mad today. So but I just thought I'd just give you a little bit of a tour around.
That's fun, and I know you'll have it all organized again if you haven't already. So
hopefully, yeah, of course. I'll go back in there, but there's not the same sort of urgency now because I've had to cancel things. But you can see, I just took everything with me. It's like the whole studio was in my car.
Of course.
Because I didn't know if I'd need it or not.
Of course. I know.
You're crazy.
Done those. Fill the car. You drive there. Hope that you have everything. So.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, that looks like fun. All right. So this was very funny. You said you wanted to show us your new tool.
Yeah, so this is the new tool that was developed in my R&D department. So they are just such fantastic techies down there. And this tool is all about how to dry your sort of, I don't know, your tubes and your bales and your beads and all that kind of thing. I use a lot of drinky straws, but what I found was when you're drying them on the top of a mug like this, they fall in, and you have all kinds of problems. So this is what my techie guys came up with. Now this is an exclusive tool, okay, and you can see me assembling it here. It comes in other colors, but the pink's very, very popular, I have to say. But you know, you can get it in other colors, and it's exclusive to me. So you know, I have trademarked it.
Okay.
And I'll show you how it works. So once you've assembled it, it's real simple assembly. You can see it's not like IKEA. It's really much easier than that. And you just balance your things across the top. So this really, really nice little notch that the guys have put in.
Very good.
To just allow those little cocktail sticks to sit. What are you laughing at, Alison?
Because this is what happens when we are when we're stuck in home for a long time.
Now you see, this is my point. I've just made my point here. This dropped right down in the mug, and it was just, you know.
Yes.
So across here,
applause.
Really nice.
Yeah, Monica said you should get that patent. I think so too, right? That should be.
I'm trying. Yeah. There are a few toe people that are giving me a bit of trouble. I don't know what that's about. But,
I don't either. Yeah. No, it's
I
that. You're so adorable. Look at that. What a great idea. Come on. And
see? Absolutely, and I have some for sale. I mean, all the people who were on my bales class at YCMI, they all got one free. They all got a set free. Some of them wanted to have a couple of sets. So you know, I mean, this is the future, people. I'm telling you, this is the future. Now, just the one important safety tip here: don't put these down on a hot plate, okay?
Yeah.
To dry.
Yeah.
Because they don't like it.
No,
they kind of do a little curling up, but they will go in a dehydrator as long as you don't put it up too high. So, this is the future. I'm telling you,
it is excellent. And polymer clay people, I think it's going to have more uses than just metal clay.
I think there are universal uses for
I
this,
think so
definitely.
too. Oh,
definitely.
Let's see. Sally got one from you at the YCMI, and you can't wait to try it. See.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, now this woman, though, is really, really brilliant. This is good, but she's really brilliant. So I said I wanted to show a video, just a little teaser from her last class that we did live on, I don't know, is it 2 weeks yet, I think? Wait, let me just see.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
It was just a couple of weeks ago. This one here, it's gotten so much feedback, and it's really genius. And it's metal clay fire in place stone setting. It's really got so much going on with it, and it's like it's more, it's over 2 hours. It's like 2.5 hours of stuff. It's genius. So I just wanted to show. Yeah, but it was good. It's good. And we learned so many things. At one point, when she started showing these flower settings, you could hear the gasp. Everyone was like, "That's what I want to make." It was great. So here is just a quick little video from it, just a few seconds. But I just wanted her to talk through this because these are some of the settings that she shows you.
Yeah, I mean, this class is really all about, you know, fire in place stones, but settings that maybe make it a little bit less formalized, so much more organic and the way I work. People who've seen my work, you know. So these are little tubes. They're made with extruders. And it's cut across to show that you can put an oval stone into a round tube. So nothing I do is really rocket science, as my students well know, but it's just, you know, an interesting way to work. And here are my some of my favorite tools: the drinking straws, knitting needles. I mean, you know, I've only got the high-tech tools, so you know everybody knows that about me. But these knitting needles are really great to put these tubes on. So you know,
but you taught us things with molds and how to do the is it prongs when you made like leaf prongs, just different ways to set stones. That was, I thought, fabulous. Who has questions about? It's a great class. Wait, let's see. Let's see. Stone setting game changer. Yeah, Monica was there. I agree. It was amazing. Here's my one question. Someone had asked me earlier. Julia, can you do like one of those prong settings, fire the whole thing, and then put your stone in and bend the prongs over because they're still annealed?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You got to think about shrinkage though. That's
Right.
why. Yeah, the reason that the class is aimed at fire in place stones is because you're putting them in there, you're setting them down in there, and you're just doing that little bit of bending of the clay across them to hold them in place. But yeah, afterwards you can if you fired them well, you can definitely push those prongs across a bit.
Right.
But if you're going to put a stone in afterwards, you've got to really consider the shrinkage factors. But yeah, it's definitely doable.
And do you think, because a lot of people have this question, they want to know, is that like the best way to try setting a stone into metal clay is because there's a little more room with maybe using the prongs, stones that are not, that you can't fire, or let's say you did your bezel. I guess you could put your bezel in the metal clay, fire it all together, and then set your stone afterwards because you could bend over the metal. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you could. And there are lots of ways of doing that, like embedding the bezels or soldering the bezels on afterwards, or doing a two-step firing where you leave a space for that bezel, and then you do you fire it, and then you put the bezel on, and then you fire it again. So there are lots of different ways of doing it.
That's what I thought, because people have asked, and I'm like, oh yeah, you can mix it all together. So, well, that is always fun. We love your new tool. You are a genius. Patent that away. I think that'll be great.
Thank you very much.
And make sure you take a look at, Julie has lots of classes. The other one that was really popular is how to add bits of color. In that, she goes over it a little bit in this class, but adding bits of color to your clay as well. You'll learn tons of stuff. Everyone was loving it. So thank you, darling, for coming on and doing that last second. We appreciate it so much.
You're very welcome. Keep safe, everybody.
Yes, exactly. All right, next up, Cindy. Miss Cindy, are you there?
I am.
Hi, hon. All right.
Hi.
So now we're going to, you know what? Yep. Let's just do polymer clay because we haven't done that yet. And we'll finish with you, Cindy. I think that might best. Let me just see if I can switch this around. Miss Tinapple, are you on? Hello. I know she's there someplace. I see her. Cynthia, can you unmute yourself? Oh, she did.
Okay, did I do it?
Yeah, you did it. I was going to just move you first for some polymer, and then we'll finish up with Cindy because we have a video at the end there. So
Great.
Let's just do that. So polymer people who are on, you're going to love all of this. Who doesn't love working with polymer? Let me pull out your pieces here. Nope, wait.
Yes.
Nope, wait. I have to switch
I hope I don't have to talk about
You do.
that.
You have to talk about that. Just make something up. Wait, hold on. You are number 7. You are here. Oh, yeah, I love this picture. All your scraps.
Yeah, actually, those are Maggie Maggio's scraps. I was sitting next to her, and I said, could I have those?
What'd she say? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she said, make me a necklace. So I did it. So this is for the upcoming class, right?
Yes. Oh, my gosh, I love it. Okay, so let me explain to everyone. All right, so first of all, Cynthia Tinapple has an amazing blog. If you're into polymer, Polymer Clay Daily, and she has a great newsletter that comes out once a week that's fabulous because it gets you all kinds of links and you get to look around and see things you wouldn't normally find. Someone is looking for you. So Cynthia she put on, I guess it was on Facebook or somewhere, maybe on her blog, this necklace, and everyone freaked out. So now she's made it into a class. And are you calling it dot and slots? What are we calling it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget what we decided on.
Well, there it is. We love it.
Yeah.
I mean, how adorably fun is that?
That is not me. That's Katie Way's daughter, Taylor.
Taylor looks adorable in it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. And whose earrings is she wearing?
Her Katie Way's, her mother's.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So wait, here you are. So here you are working on it, making your dots and all of that type of thing.
Right. It's simple and fun, and you can. Here I was just using solid colors, but in the other one I made, it was Maggie scraps. So it's a fun and fast way to
Oh, I
put a
see.
necklace
Okay.
together.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's cool.
And oh, I know. I was going to tell you that it's a necklace I made years ago and hung it up, and I thought, oh, it's too simple. So
Yeah.
I never did anything with it. And then I looked at it one day and thought, I still like that. So I resurrected it. And so the first necklace I made, I put in my suitcase, and it's been test driven. And
Right.
they do not break. They do not come out. So it's just a few tricks on how to get the dots in the bead.
Oh,
So.
the possibilities are endless. But you know what I thought was really fun was that it just makes you happy, and it is simple coloring,
Right.
It makes you very happy. So that is an upcoming class. I said to Cynthia last night, please send me something and come on and talk about Polymer Clay in your class coming up. So she teaches really fun things, and I think this will be a really, really great class. Bettina just said, can I see a close-up of that? I'm like, there it is right there. And I think the fact that you can use scrap, and you're using black, which shows it off so great. But, obviously there's a million possibilities too, but it just goes to show how great simple can be.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, so all you Polymer Clay people coming on to Miss Tinapple, or as someone's autocorrect said, Cynthia Pineapple. Yeah. I'm like, that cracked me up. She has lots of classes over at CraftCast as well. So check those out and you'll have lots of fun. And we have time to have lots of fun at home. So we need projects like this at home right now. So thank you for doing that, darling. I'm excited to do the class with you. And that will be up for people to register. It won't be up until next month. It's part of our series, our upcoming series. So you'll all get an email when that's all up there. So
yeah, but we can come together and keep our distance at the same time.
Exactly. And learn and make and have fun stuff and feel like you're with friends. All right. Thank you, honey. Thanks for coming on and showing us that. All right. Now, our other Cynthia, Cindy Pope, who has an amazing amount of classes over at CraftCast. I saved her at the end here. For all of you who love using the cutting machines, the Curio, the Cameo, how do you like the Cameo 4, Cindy?
Not a fan right now, but I'm not going to really talk about using cutting machines. I'm going to talk about using the software.
Right.
And a lot of the classes, the software is free, and there's a designer edition that you can get pretty inexpensively that allows you to do things like Meg's Bonham did in her quilting class, which is color plan your they're not called quilts.
No, it's her Polymer Clay class where she made her canes look like quilting.
Canes.
Yeah.
But she designed the color combinations in the software.
Right. It's great software.
Right. And when I did we made a piece for Pam to enamel in her class. What I did is I did the enamel color planning.
Right.
So there's a lot of really interesting things. So I kind of want to show you how I make photopolymer plates and stamp maker plates using hand-drawn images. And I want to tell you, you're stuck at home and you can't get into the studio, or you just want to spend a few minutes. Drawing is a great stress reliever. So what I did with
before you start, let me tell everyone something here who's not familiar with Silhouette software. Go download it. It's free. You'll want to buy the upgrade version because you can save, and this is going to be an important thing for everyone, SVGs. As we're moving forward in this world, SVGs are really important. They're scarable vector art, which means there's no pixels involved. And you'll start using those for all kinds of things, whether you're going to go into laser cutters or cutting machines. It's worth just starting to play around with that software. We have tons of classes on the software you can take, blah, blah, blah. But I think what also Cindy's going to show is how drawing in it is a really fun way to start playing and making stuff. And Cindy's the pro at all the little gadgets and tools that they have in there to play with too. So that's what's up in this. So I'm sorry, hon. I just wanted to give everyone a little overview there.
That's okay. Like Meg said, it's really easy software to use. And I don't want to learn Adobe Illustrator, although I would love to know it, but I don't want to spend the time to learn it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I use it pretty much every time I do any kind of like notice or any kind of class announcement. It's just really easy to manipulate pictures and things. And so I'm working at a class in May in Tucson, and we're going to be doing a little bit of hand drawing. So I want to show you real quick. Let me share my webcam.
Oh, that's right. What are you going to show us?
I'm just going to show you. I'm playing around with just like doing some drawing.
Yep, yep.
And then I'm going to take it, and I made photopolymer plates. Whoop.
There you go.
And I made stamp maker plates.
Yeah, cool.
And I made these sweet little earrings. But I used the software to manipulate the image. So that's what I'm going to show you.
Okay. Exciting. So all you metal clay, polymer clay, you can use this for everything. It's really, really cool. And I bet we lost her audio for right now. Or are you there? Because she just
I'm
switched.
here.
Oh, good. Because you switched off your camera. All right. So here's a drawing you did.
So I started with the drawing, and I've adjusted it with the photo editor, and then I've done some other adjusting. And we're not going to really talk about that because I'm going to give a presentation on this at AMCA, and do some individual classes. But so this is the image that I got after I adjusted it, because my drawing isn't perfect, but there are wonderful ways to adjust it. And then you could also do a negative in the SIL software, like really easy. I'm going to show you that. And then we could quickly go through the next ones. Here's, when I can take a pretty sad drawing, get a really nice little image out of it.
That's good to see that you can really clean things
up. So I called myself a non-drawer, and I'm telling you can flip through them while I'm talking. Wannery Tanner told me, she was a little tired of me saying that. And she said, I found out about this fun little drawing system. I think it's going to help you. And it was called Zentangle. And I actually really learned how to draw. And so now with the SIL software, I can actually go from this image to the next one, which is a beautiful pattern.
I'm giving everyone Zentangles if they don't have it right there.
Oh my gosh, it is so fun. And you can find a lot of it for free. I'm going to give you some links.
Yep, here comes some more Zentangle patterns. We're putting it all in the box here. You can save these all. And you guys, I'm sorry, there isn't a PDF for this class because we just put it together literally in the past few hours. So if you're desperate and can't find something, just email us at support@craftcast.com. We'll figure it out.
We'll get you links for whatever you need.
Yeah. Did I send that right?
And so I did this little funny butterfly. So really, as for someone who never actually drew, I will tell you, I've learned a lot about drawing, and so I really can't call myself a non-drawer anymore.
No, you're right. Yeah, I got it.
So so I appreciate Wannery kind of pushing me. So we're going to go down to the one that looks like a little butterfly.
Okay, hold on. I just want to send.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. So and really the original did not look this good. And I do a lot of things digitally, but I've been really having fun hand drawing because I've been sick. And so since I've been sick, really the best thing to do is sit down with a notepad. And I've been using something called friction erasable markers. I got to tell you, they're really great because I need to erase a lot.
Very cool. Another fun thing to go check out. Now, are these all your finished drawings?
This is the images that I printed out when we do a photopolymer plate or a stamp maker plate. You print it out on overhead material. And if you have an inkjet printer, you use something called fast dry inkjet overhead material. And what I use is called Apollo. I got a generic one that was less, but the Apollo has always worked really good for me. So I'm going to show you how I create these images in the Silhouette software. And here's a lot of my plates. I also tried doing some on the little Silhouette has this little stamp maker. I didn't get as good at images that I would like, but I got positive and negatives, which is really great. And then here's my little butterflies.
Now, you know, we have a polymer plate class over on craftcast.com that Barbara Becker Simon teaches. So if you guys are dying to learn how to make plates, I don't think you have one, do you, Cindy?
No, but I took Erin Elm Harris's Put a Name on It.
Oh,
And
okay, that's right. She
I have
has it too
used,
on Craftcast.
right.
Right. So if you guys want
And
to
I
know,
don't,
yeah.
I
Sorry.
don't have one on the stamp maker, but I prefer the stamp maker. I get better results than I do on photopolymer plates. I
Okay.
think it's a little deeper, and Pam would have enameled those earrings. Maybe I'll get to enameling them. But so here's some of the pieces I made from those plates.
I mean,
And
it's outrageous.
yeah,
Gorgeous.
really fun.
I love this one up
And
here.
yeah, that was a kind of a cool, and that's from a Zentangle pattern.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and that's a stamp maker plate, and you can see it's a little deeper and more organic, rounded. And then the ones with the swirls are actually from a photopolymer plate.
All right, before we start, we're going to end with this video, but before we start, I'm going to take questions. Celeste wants to know, download which software? It's just called
It's the Silhouette Studio software.
There you go,
And you
Celeste.
can look at the software for free and use it for free. But I recommend if you're going to do, we have a class by Shannon Greenlees on how to create mandalas.
Oh yeah.
And if you're going to use that or the technique I'm going to show you, you need the designer edition, which you can get at Swing Design. I think it's on sale today for $29.95.
You know what?
So play around with it first.
Play around with it, but it's worth it because you're going to want to save things in SVGs.
Well, that's the business edition.
Oh,
the business
okay.
edition
All
is
right.
with an SVG or
All right.
a JPEG. I also do a lot of if I am showing something we're going to make in class, a lot of times I'll mock it up and I can make it really pretty in the Silhouette software. It's just been my go-to. I always loved the old 1995 printmaker. And I've never been friends with the Adobe products unless they're on my iPad. But so it's really been a great little software. We have lots of good classes on it. Shannon's class is great. I have a class called version 4.
Yep.
So you're going to be home. Learn to do something new that might really help you.
And I'll tell you, I spent last summer watching everyone else's videos on every one of the softwares out there for this kind of stuff right now. And Silhouette hands down has them beat. So, you know, it's worth it. The free one is great. You're going to want to buy a little bit more. And it's tons cheaper than trying to get Illustrator or something. So it's worth it. All right. So Darren wants to know, oh yeah, you meant the Mint. That's the Silhouette's version of that. Yeah.
So I didn't
What is the stamp maker though? Is it?
The stamp maker is a little program made by a company called Photocentric.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And you can get it online. There's a few places you can get it, and I can get you some links for that too. But I prefer it. Unfortunately, the stamp maker has the instructions that come with it are not very good. So I have a friend, who Jenny Vestal, who is an amazing photopolymer and stamp maker person, and she helped me out by kind of pointing me in the right direction on timing. So I think I've been posting some stuff online, so I'm going to do like a little.
You mean like how to make it darker and all that kind of stuff?
No, how to make it come out right.
Come out right. Okay, because someone was asking
so
about
for instance,
that.
They say 2 minutes, and I use 30 seconds. So obviously, if you started with 2 minutes, you'd be like, well, this thing doesn't work very well.
Got it. All right, Diane, you heard that, right? Does that help with your question? Let me do a few more questions here, because Kathy wants to know if she can use Cricut software. There really isn't anything to create that way, because you can't, I don't think you can. You can't save it as an SVG out of Cricut.
No, and I'm not sure if Cricut will, how nice a printout you'll get, because I'm going to show you, I print these out onto that overhead material. So I don't know what the printing capacity is. I
don't either. We don't have Kay on to get our science or engineer to tell us all of that. I don't think it's easier with the Silhouette for sure. I think there are some issues with the Cricut, Kathy. So that software is so worth it. Monica's saying, yes, it is. And Holly is, have you done any of this? Yeah, for the Cricut. I mean, here's what you can bring, to be clear. You can bring these files in from Silhouette if you can save, if you have the upgraded version and use your Cricut. No problem with that. They just don't have a great, you can't create in the Cricut software at all like you can in the Silhouette software. Can you create as a PDF
Yes.
to use with you can. Okay, so it'll take PDFs. The stamp maker will take PDFs.
Well, yeah, you could put the image onto, I use the Sil software, but you could put it in Word and then print it out on the Apollo overhead material.
Okay. There's
so
on the Apollo acetate is what Kathy just asked.
Yeah, it's
Right.
called Inkjet Fast Dry.
Okay.
It's an old product, and I just ordered more because I was down to my last 2 when I was getting ready to do. I'm working towards I have a class in May in Tucson. We hope.
Yeah.
And so I'm preparing for this class because they've been with me 5 years, and now we're going to do some real art, our own art, which is really fun. So how do you learn to draw? Well, Wannery steered me towards something called Zentangle. I got a little Zentangle kit. It had a little video, and it had a little book. And I started doing it, and it was really easy. And I actually even made myself, if you go to the, we're going past a little bit. We got, I made one that's actually published on Tangle Patterns.
Oh, okay. All right.
So what we're going to do 2 things. I'm going to take my own, and I'm also going to download one of Shannon's that I bought, a little package of her mandalas, and we're going to use that too.
And
so
what
you
Cindy
do,
was just showing too is you can buy finished patterns over at CraftCast. We have a design store with some patterns as well.
And I love Shannon's mandalas. They're very traditional mandalas, and her class is just amazing. And what I love about it is she takes a totally different tack on using the software than I do, and I find that really fun. So what you do is you're going to copy them into the library in the Silhouette software. And there's 2 parts of the library. There's designs and there's patterns. We're going to put anything that's a JPEG is going to go into patterns, and you just put them on your computer and you click on them and drag them over. It's as easy as that. So as long as you know where you put them on your computer, which is the biggest challenge for a lot of people. And this is, you can use it, you could just copy it right into the file, but I like to put them in the library because I want to play around with them. And so I like to, instead of hunting and searching for it, I like to just kind of put them in the library. And this is under the quarantine folder. And I have so many of these. Once I learned this software, I've really enjoyed designing with it so much, especially when I only have a couple minutes. And once you've done Zentangling, you'll be able to take a lot of different things and turn them into pictures, because you'll kind of figure out how to analyze the lines and do a simple drawing. So then I'm also going to go and take the pattern that I got from Shannon, and she has 5 different mandalas. I like the 5th. I like them all. I like the 5th one. I'm going to take the JPEG and drag that in also.
You know what's great about buying some that are done, besides promoting her files, is that when you're learning, it's sort of great to have one that's already done and then start playing around with it. You know, I like working backwards that way too. Or
if you just want to, like with the Silhouette ones, I always have finished pieces that you could just cut and etch. And I think sometimes it's a different part of your brain, cutting and etching, than designing. So it's nice to just have one you can make. So the first thing so Shannon's is a digital image, but mine is a hand-drawn image. So I'm just going to make a little box, and I'm going to put the image in that little box, that little butterfly. And that was an easy thing to draw. It's funny. Sometimes the most simple things give you a really bold look. So what happens is when you have the designer version, you can put all your own pictures in. So I created a folder called Quarantine. The images are teeny tiny. So I always put things in folders. Like when I do a class, I have a total folder for that class.
It's your digital organization.
Yes, because I have so many. And we've asked them to make these little images a little bigger. And a lot of them are patterns, but a lot of them are pictures. So I'm using pictures in this case. So I'm going to put my little butterfly on there, and then I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to actually cut all that white away. So I'm just left with the image. I'm going to show you how to do that. Very easy in the Sil software. You just take the trace function and you select it. And you put a box around what you want to trace and say, just trace around the outside. And then I just take a drag box and select the whole thing, and then I'm going to crop it. So I'm just going to crop out all that outside white. And this is in the modify window. And when you use any of these tools, it has like a little description of what it does, which is really helpful.
And if people are overwhelmed watching this, you can get Cindy's class on all this and walk through, because sometimes it's great just to use the computer, listen to what she says, do it, pause the video, come back and continue to get all muscle memory on how to do these things.
I would say I used the software really badly for the first couple of years, and then I took a class on Wannery and learned more in a half an hour than I had in 2 years.
Yeah, it helps.
So I started watching videos, and I would do it. I would watch it for 2 minutes, try to do it, go back.
Yep.
So I'm showing you how you can go easily from a negative to a positive.
Yep.
Using the photo editor. You can also go make the black a little blacker, which makes it a little thicker. I thought the lines when I made my first photopolymer were a little too thin. I could also go through and redraw it, but so I've got an image here that's really, really nice, and I want to shrink it down to the size I want it, which is really cool because you haven't prepared something using like reverse art or something that's just one size. In the Sil software, you can make it really big, you can make it really small, you could really make any size you want. So I'm going to do an earring size, and then you can mirror it, which is also a really cool tool because all my earrings need to be mirrored now. And then we go to File, Print. I'm going to move it up so I don't use as much of that overhead material as I.
And you're using the Curio setup right here. Someone wants to know, she's been waiting to buy a machine. Which do we recommend? If you're going to do this kind
Always
of work,
the Curio.
Yeah, it's a Curio. Which is the cheapest. So.
Yes, and Megs would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing really large scale stuff. But I always change my quality to the best, and I change it to black and white. And then I send it through the printer twice. If you have a printer that has a really nice feeder, that'll work on. Otherwise, you would just send it once. But I could do the negative and the positive. And remember, when you're doing a photopolymer plate, where the dark is going to be an outie, and where the light is going to be an innie. I learned that from Erin's class.
Mm-hmm.
And so you really got to think when you're doing your photopolymer plate, what do I want in and what do I want out?
Yeah, exactly.
So now I'm going to use Shannon's, and I want to show you, you can use just a piece of the image and create a photopolymer plate that really is your design using that pattern. So I'm going to show you how I would do that. I'm going to go back to those pictures, and I'm going to go back to where I copied them into the library. And if you take Shannon's class, you'll be able to make your own mandalas. It's a really cool class.
Yeah,
and she actually etches them onto copper. She shows you how to etch them onto copper.
Yeah. It's good.
But which is another way to get your image and make some beautiful earrings. So I copied it into there. But what I want to do is I want to pan it. So I don't want it just sticking in the middle there. I want a little piece of it poking up from the edge. So you could use something called pan. Oh, first I'm going to darken it up a little bit. And dark is FX.
And you guys are seeing how much control you have in here by just seeing this. And even though it looks overwhelming, you'll catch on. I promise.
Well, all my things are like little design based. So you take one little project and I say, practice it for 2 weeks. Once you don't need to look back, start a new project.
Good idea.
That's how I finally learned the software. And I saw an Adobe Illustrator presentation once, and I said, I don't see this does anything that I can't already do. So I decided not to get it.
I think you're right. I haven't used Illustrator in so many years.
Yeah. So we're going to go back to the pictures, and I'm going to go to the pan, which puts a little tiny button in the middle, and it lets me drag it.
Mm-hmm.
And then scale makes it bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found in my design, a little design tip that I've been doing recently is I think covering your whole piece with pattern sometimes doesn't emphasize the pattern as well as leaving a little bit of silver up there at the top.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
So I've been playing around with that a little bit. So now I've got it right where I want it, but I can also angle it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the most flexible software. I learn new things about it all the time, but it's really fun. So now I've got it done, and I'm going to shrink it down and mirror it. And this is a cool mirrored look because they're going to look referential, but they're going to be going exactly the opposite way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
Which is, I always tell people I'm a symmetrical girl because I do love symmetry, but this is asymmetrical symmetry.
Ms. Pope's background is also as an accountant, a CPA, just so everyone knows.
Yes, that's where the Cynthia name comes from. I sign taxes that way. So I want to show you one more way. So when you look at the black, if you're doing a photopolymer plate and you think it's not quite dark enough,
mm-hmm.
You can also trace this image and increase the amount of black that's in it. So I'm going to select, do the same trace that I did before, but this time I'm going to trace the whole thing. And I'm going to increase that threshold a little bit. So everything that's yellow is going to be traced around. And you'll see it's going to be a slightly different outcome. So once it looks good on the screen, I'm going to hit the trace button. And then the tracing is sitting on top of that original black and white.
Cool.
And so now what I can do is I can select this, and you see it's traced around each of those lines. And I'm going to fill it with black. And it's all red. And I'm going to change the line color to black also. And it is already darker than the original was.
Yeah.
Which is going to give me a nicer photopolymer plate. I can also thicken up the outside lines. We're going to shrink her down a little bit.
That looks cool cropped. I love it. Right here, let me back up just a little bit at the end there.
Okay. So, you can even adjust there's a lot of ways to adjust the image, but as y'all know that do photopolymer plates, the image is everything. And so to get the perfect image, people go through a lot of work, and it's really much easier with the software.
All right, let me look, because everyone's asking, where is Shannon's class? And I don't remember the name of it by heart to give the link.
Well, it's mandalas.
Yeah, but I don't know if it wasn't coming. We have so many classes with these machines too. You can, in the front of the site, you can tap the category being digital. Do you think I can find it?
The cool thing is you don't need the actual cutter to use the software. And so I could print things out on cardstock and create my own stencils. There's a lot of things you could do. So I'm really trying to, because I think learning the software is a good idea before you actually go and buy the machine.
Oh, it is. All right, here it is. Learn to design and create copper etchings using the Silhouette software. Here was the mandala example there.
Yeah, but she designed all those in a really fun way.
Let me
put
the
software
in here for everybody to help. And don't forget, you guys, take advantage of the 30% off. Just use Spring 2020
right.
when you purchase. Yeah, that's a great class. She's great. I mean, we have a lot of those Silhouette software classes in there. You'll learn tons and tons of things. Okay. This has been so much fun to escape the news. Thank you, Ms. Cindy. I want you to keep feeling better. All right, let's see if there's any other questions here. This is printed out into overhead material. Oh, and that was printed out into your overhead materials, Celeste wants to know at the very end of your, yeah.
So what I do is I usually do a bunch at once. So to fill up most, or at least half an overhead material. And then I do put them I usually put them through twice, see if that works with your printer. I have an HP, an old HP. I need a new one.
Mhm.
But it's if I'm careful about how I place it in there, putting it through twice just darkens the image, which
Mhm.
gives you a better outcome when you do photopolymer plates.
I think we have a last question here from Raj. We love your questions. How deep is the impression on the clay?
Well, the stamp maker is deeper. I would, gosh, it's hard to say. I would say the stamp maker is about 1 millimeter. Can you zoom in? That the stamp maker is about 1 millimeter. The photopolymer plates are not. Now, if you're doing an innie, like that you want to enamel or something, I think the stamp maker is a good idea.
Okay.
Like these butterflies would be beautiful enameled.
Yep. There's enough there.
Yeah. But you get a beautiful texture with the photopolymer plates, but it's just not quite as deep. Now, Pam East can make a heck of a deep photopolymer plate, but I have just not had as much success as she has had.
Well, she's genius with all that. What can we tell you?
She really is.
She's another one of the all of you are like master people here. Well, you guys, did you enjoy hanging out today? Did we get to not think about the world for a little while? I just want to thank all these women that came on and showed all these things. They put it together in just overnight when I, emailed them yesterday. How about tomorrow, fun at 1? So I love them with all my heart for coming on. I'm glad you enjoyed it, guys. Listen, for the recording, I'm just going to make it. It'll be done as a screencast. It's not one of our full videos like the rest. And I'll just have it for free up on the CRAFTCAST site, probably end of day tomorrow, so that you can rewatch and enjoy. And I'm glad. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, everyone writing in, everyone saying all your lovely things. Aren't they all great? Why don't you guys come on? If you're still all there, and just come on and say goodbye. Just unmute. We can all be like, wave, goodbye, and thank you. Hello.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye, everybody.
Yay. Everyone's writing in. Everyone loved it. I'm so
Thanks.
happy. We're gonna keep doing these
I
because
learned stuff.
hey, we all do.
Oh, sure.
We want to keep our spirits up. Everyone is writing in. Everyone loved it. So that really moves me hard. Thank you, guys.
Oh,
All right,
you,
everyone.
Allison.
It was
thanks,
fun.
Allison.
You're welcome,
Thanks, Allison.
darlings. All right, we'll see you all again soon. I'll get the recording up as soon as possible. Please stay healthy. Send us pictures of what you make. Any questions, support@craftcast.com. Don't forget, spring 2020 will take 30% off your purchases. So everyone, take care. Love you all. Big kiss. Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.